Hello again, welcome to another episode of Women of Startup Nation from Soho House in Tel Aviv, our new home, which we love very much, and thanks for hosting us. So it's the middle of the summer, it's really hot, not as hot as in Europe, but yeah, sorry for you guys. But it's we are enjoying the summer in Tel Aviv. We don't know what's going to happen with Iran, but we take it day by day. And
every day is a new day.
Exactly.
Bam! So today we have Genia Rashbam, that is the director of the global event at Yom. Now, actually, Genia, first of all, Genia is one of the members of Soho House, which are going to be more and more invited to do this platform. But she's also originally from Russia, so
born and raised
in Moscow.
Yeah.
So we thought that to better discover about the complexity of Israel, actually, you have a lot to tell us. Do you want to tell us what brought you from Moscow to?
I don't know, like how my Russian heritage can contribute to anything over here, but yeah, as I said, born and raised in Moscow, moved to Israel when I was 26.
So
who remembers?
Last year,
exactly. But
in what year actually? Because it's interesting.
it was 2012.
Okay.
It was right before we didn't call it war, but first incidents in Crimea in 2014. But now that I'm in marketing, I realized I was that lead that got converted after 3-4 touch points. I came to the Jewish Community Center in Moscow when I was around 18. And then I did the birthright, and then I did Masa, and then I was great. 6 months later, I moved to Israel, and I was still running my business in Moscow, so it was more of a backyard. I would spend maybe a month and a half over here, another 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks back in Moscow. And then I think when I actually feel that, I started building myself over here was around 2015. Because after, what you said, the first signs of conflict with Ukraine, Crimea, and stuff like that, it was very hard over there, just financially, right? I don't think I had a lot of political reasoning yet back then. I didn't feel it on my day-to-day life as, being silenced or something like that. But financially, I already lived here. I was still running my business in Moscow, and I was in the world of B2B events.
Mm-hmm.
And with sanctions, there was not as many international sponsorships coming in, so it was much harder. It was very hard, earning in rubles, and spending them here in shekels that is connected to the dollar. Anywho, yeah.
So you tell us a little bit more what you do and how hard or how easy it has been as Ola Hadasha, as a new immigrant, as a woman, to basically start. Well, you didn't start from scratch, but you basically moved your business from Russia to Israel.
I didn't really move my business, more so my expertise.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're 25, everything is easy. Everything is I'll move. And honestly, I fell in love with a man. I moved over here for a hot lifeguard.
An Israeli guy?
An Israeli guy.
A
so
lifeguard,
yeah,
wow.
A hot lifeguard brought me here, and I sense of purpose.
Not Zionism.
Not Zionism.
Well, it's a form of Zionism.
I know, but then I was I'll take my trolley, I'll move and I'll see what happens. Then, when I decided to leave my business, I thought that, cool, I have some ties, I have some connections over here, it will be easy peasy, to find a job, and I thought, I'll continue doing what I was doing over there.
Was the iTech ecosystem?
It was not an iTech, I was already a very seasoned, by the age of 25, right? I was a very seasoned events producer.
Mm.
And we're talking B2B events such as scientific, pharmaceuticals, medical conferences, some events that we did for the government, Moscow government, over there. So it was great, I have what I need. Wrong, I didn't have what I needed. I was overqualified for every single job that I wanted. At the same time, zero Hebrew, zero knowledge of the local market, no vendor relationship, so it was pretty useless, to say the least. So I was okay, let's not be so full of ourselves, and look for something else. So among the hotel and sales jobs, I found work in tech. There was a company called Yapo that was really small back then. What could define small really? Like we were maybe 50 people back then. And I was interviewed by a CEO and CMO and another guy, and it was a match made in heaven, honestly.
Wow.
Like now, 10.5 years later, I'm still there.
Which is
Which is it's like a really old logo, guys, but it's still there. Dear to my heart.
no, but so we can say that actually the high-tech ecosystem somehow help you also.
It hugged me, accepted me, and I continued doing over there like what I knew, right? Like they were at the same time looking for somebody who can take over their events. I knew very little about marketing and how these events prove ROI, because what I was doing in the past like was working for those companies, like we're trying to get some sort of ROI like from their events, whatever. But like also working with a professor at the university is very different than running events for tech. But fake it till you make it. I came to the interview like, I know my shit. I knew that I was gonna make it, and I did.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you also became a mom.
I became a mom.
So I would like to ask you also, since we are all moms and we're all struggling between.
I have a teenager at home, unbelievable.
Oh.
I know.
So how is to be an Israeli mom? Like, how can you balance work and family life and war going on?
And I will add to that question
Yes.
because we were just talking earlier and saying how interesting it is to raise children here when you come from different background. Like we come from a very Italian, Milanese, proper, you know,
Old
school education. And raising kids here, at least for me, has been very traumatic in the beginning. I had to go through a
I'd
crisis.
love to hear more about that. Because my experience is so different though.
Really, because for me it was like I didn't understand how free kids were here and how self-confident, how they get dirty and they don't care. And as a mom, I was going short circuit. I was like, wait, and eventually when I let that go, it's been amazing. And I love raising my daughters here, and it's amazing. They're becoming beautiful, self-confident girls that I never could have become in Milan in a way.
Yeah.
So I know that the Russian upbringing is also quite
Uptight.
strict and uptight compared to the Israeli one. It's very laissez-faire. So I'm just adding on to the question.
I think like I'm a bit of like an unusual post-Soviet person because yeah, like all the Russians that you have right now, you know, like they got out of the Soviet Union like with a very specific education, and my mom contributed a lot like to the fact that we were already not as tight, me and my sister. So she in the 90s, like in Russia, like after the perestroika, like and everything, like the industry she was studying into, geology, like was non-existent pretty much. Like so she had to find herself, like she started running businesses, like trade and stuff like that. And at the same time, some were there, honestly, like I don't remember when exactly, how old I was, like when she divorced from my dad. But she was a single mom with a crazy good crazy grandma. Who was taking care of us like while mom was working. So we were pretty free, like me and my sis. You know, like we didn't have that, you know, like proper Soviet Russian upbringing, like I feel. So like when I moved over here, kinda like build up on that. And still I'm considered over here like a pretty Soviet mom, right? Like I still have structure, discipline. See, like I'm sitting in my workout clothes, I will work out every day. So like there's some things that I still integrate into like my parenthood. And my ex, his dad, were together for 11 years. He was like, "Ty, let go, it's okay. Let him eat this, let him wake up." I'm like, no, there has to be. So now he goes to the French school right next door over here, like because I was looking for something, not a democratic, for example, right? Because I was looking for something that can give him structure and teach him discipline. And I feel like he's also very comfortable with that. Like some kids just do not do well like in those like systems, and he does. So like at certain points, you know, like I still look at him as, you know, like his own like ecosystem, you know, like, and I follow his lead at this point. He's 12. But on the other hand, look, he's got the best of both worlds. Like he's got like a little bit of a nerdy mom and a lifeguard of a dad, free spirit, lives on the beach. So yeah, like sometimes like he would sit and nerd out with me like over like ChatGPT and everything that's new in AI. And right now he's surfing. Yeah.
So it sounds an amazing childhood.
Yeah.
I think that everybody around the world would love to be your son.
All of my friends want me to adopt them, just so you know, right? So yeah.
So everything is beautiful till October 7 arrived.
Yeah, that was dramatic.
So how was
Where
for
were
you?
Were you both here, like during that
Yes,
time?
we were.
Actually, no. I
No,
was
right,
on vacation.
Yeah.
We were supposed to fly back on the 7th, and then our flight got cancelled, and we ended up staying in Italy for a while.
I was here with my son, which is a little bit younger than yours, but where you were, how impact your life, your job, your motherhood.
You know, Misery Loves Company. It was 2023, just a couple of weeks, like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, like I separated like from, again, the father of my child. And my birthday's on October 6th.
Ah.
And I was sitting here with my girlies and I was telling them about like all my big plans and the new life that I'm going to have and how I'm going to go to the gym and how I'm going to do this and a lot of shit. And then we stayed here until late and then we went out to the market, like drank a little bit here and there. So I got back home around like 3:30 a.m. maybe. So I didn't realize what I'm waking up to next morning. Like when all the sirens started, like at 6:30 a.m. Like, what's going on? Honestly, I was walking around like looking for my son because I even forgot like he was not at home. Like when you wake up after 3 hours
Yeah.
of sleep with all these big plans in your head, making the God laugh and all that, it was unexpected. Like I went back to sleep right after because I didn't realize what was going on. But the thing is, as a child, I went through, it doesn't sound like anything like close to like actually going through something, but like we experienced from afar like the wars with Chechnya.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone, you know, like the Ukraine and everything that's going on over there, like living in Moscow, like everything's like so far. Chechnya was thousands and thousands of miles away, so like even when kids at school got taken hostage in 204,
Yeah.
like we were
That was
all
a
like in
horrible
this land,
story,
yeah, horrible. We were all glued like to the TVs, like watching and hoping, but again, like it's so far, like you don't know anyone who knows anyone who is directly impacted or connected to the event. Where over here is very different. We're like a very small country, like you don't need six handshakes.
Yeah.
And somehow, like over here, like you probably know that better than I do, like you want to do something. And I don't know where it's coming from. Again, I didn't come here because I was a Zionist, because I had like crazy ideas about like all Jews in Israel, like and all that stuff. Again, like, go with the flow. I was very young when I moved over here. I didn't go to the army. Though somehow like I created like a community of my own like, over here, like which is not really like a Russian-speaking community. I barely have Russian-speaking friends over here. So when you know personally people who made it out of the party, when 10% of your company,
Yeah.
When 10% of your company got drafted, and you just need to be an adult in the room, and sometimes you understand like, okay, just doing your daily job is what you have to do right now, because as a person who didn't do the army, I couldn't really help. Like I'm totally GI Jane, but who wants me there? Nobody. I tried to volunteer, I did, but because again, like I'm fluent in Hebrew, but writing quickly
Yeah.
and texting like is a bit of a problem. So like I couldn't take on more like managerial role,
Yeah.
like in volunteering institutions and whatnot. But I did what I could do. Like, look, I work with the U.S. a lot. Like all my team is abroad, so I was like a manager and running global events by night, because while we're having a situation over here, like the world doesn't stop. Like
Yeah.
we still have lunches, we still have events, I still have a team to run. So by night I was doing that. By day I was like a driver, because that's what you can do. Like I was taking medications from one city to another, like when the doctors like couldn't move around so much. Like I was driving to bring food to Kibbutz Odem. Like I was driving with friends down south, like to bring like equipment to the bases. That's what you do. So like you kind of like try to balance that, and you just couldn't sit still. Like you felt like something is missing, right? Because like all the countries somehow like united and started doing something.
And meanwhile, there is a wars going on in your country between Russia.
Your country of origin.
Exactly.
Origin, yeah.
So we were actually very curious to understand your feelings back then, because you were in a double trouble, a double drama, and maybe also help to zoom it out I don't know, I'm wondering, I'm curious to know.
The trouble over there started a little earlier,
Yes.
like I think like a few months, and I remember I was in LA. I woke up and I'm like reading the news, like I'm trying to understand what's going on, and I'm like, that's surreal. Why? Like everything sounded like a Black Mirror chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like again, like the president of Ukraine being like a stand-upist, like a
Yeah.
He's really good. Like I like him. Like I'm not a fan of Putin per se. Like I do think like there's a lot of things you can say about the U.S., but the fact that the power changes at least every 8 years, like most likely 4, is great. Like when you sit too long, like in one place, we have it over here as well.
Exactly.
You're losing it. Like there's like theories over there that like he's dead.
Yeah, it's like
He has like doubles and.
It's gonna be there forever.
Nerds like sit there and there's a classification of the doubles, like what they say, like his voice like is a little different at this event, whatever. Not a fan, and the reasons for war over there are very different.
Yeah.
It's like, speaking of, I'm trying to remember like the heroes, like back in the days, like when, like during the Second World War, like a huge part of it, like was our nation of the war over there, and people were fighting for existence. Like it's very different from you needing like to go and fight like somebody else's wars. We know that like Russia never wanted like NATO like too close to the border, right? And when you say like please don't do it, please don't do it, please don't do it, like I think like every country like to a certain extent would have done something similar, right? Because it's what you do. But it is what it is. Like war is crazy, terrible, and no matter the reasoning. So like on one hand, like I do understand why. On the other hand, I'm like no.
I have to say, this is so refreshing because, again, I don't know much because we've been focused so much on our war then. But one thing that I was always curious about, and I happen to have a few Russian clients, and I work also with a lot of Ukrainians here, and I was really curious and trying to understand what was going on without really having an opinion, because I felt, everybody was like running behind Ukraine because they were not the
underdog, like, of course.
Underdog. But I was like, you know what? I don't really need to have an opinion about these at least. And I was really trying to understand, what was the reasoning. And it doesn't matter yet if Russian is not really a democracy, but let's just figure it out. And then when the war started here, I saw that nobody did what I did. Because nobody tried to understand what happened. They were just like, oh, Israel is the aggressor.
Yeah.
And it felt, and that's why I lost the respect of so many people that I know. Because, again, it just doesn't take so much to say, I'm curious about this conflict, I want to know more, I'm going to ask people that come from the place, what's their opinion, why this happened, and I don't expect like anybody to be the spokesperson of their government, but I just wanted to understand more. And when I saw that basically known of the people that sorry, this is something that is very recurrent in our podcast.
Yeah,
but it's something
there is no why we're having this
it's our
podcast.
trauma.
Yes.
And then to see that nobody fucking bothered ever asking me what I think or what I feel, and like just being curious about what's going on here because it's so complex. I was like, really? Like, I do that. I do that for other conflicts.
Yeah.
Parenthesis. I wanted to ask you, when you're abroad, I guess, you're Genia and you're amazing, beautiful person. But you're also Russian and you're also Israeli. And you travel a lot for work, right? How do the identities play out? Like, do you get different reactions when you say you're Russian or Israeli? Or like, is it something that plays a part when you go abroad? Is it something that preoccupies you or?
It doesn't preoccupy me. I don't think about that much. I do travel a ton for work, and up until the last hostage, everywhere I went with a plate. And I was never scared of what could have happened because I don't know, like I'm just blessed. I'm surrounded by amazing people. I never had crazy conflict over it. Also, like, look at me, I'm a chameleon. Like, I'm traveling with Lufthansa, they speak German to me. I'm flying with Swiss, I can be anything. But I was never hiding my identity. Every time I'm in the cab in New York, early morning, maybe potentially jet lag, who knows, like you don't know, when you just land and the taxi driver asks me where I'm from, like I would say Israel. And I know so many people who wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I also know so many people telling like, don't go to Spain, they're anti-Semite over there. I'm like, okay, great, maybe you look like me, they wouldn't even know. but like I would travel with, bring them home everywhere, and it helped me have like a lot of conversations like I actually wouldn't have otherwise, like because sometimes people don't really, not like bother, like they don't have an idea to ask.
Yeah.
Right? But like when you're so upfront about it, they'll be like, oh, but like what's going on? I can't really say how many opinions I have changed like in this world, maybe none, but like
Sometimes one is enough, you know?
I know, but like that wasn't like a purpose, like a proactive like goal of it, right? But again, just like I couldn't sit still, so I drove around the country like to help the way I can. I put the plate on myself like to be like, hey, like I'm a part of it, like I really care. Like maybe I don't have this in me like to go to Kaplan every Saturday, right? But I'm contributing like in another way. And hello, man. There were a lot of Israeli men like who would meet me at these trade shows because again, like we're a tech community over here working in income, like we all go to the same events, and they would be like, well done on the plate. And my question was the same all the time, like where's yours?
Yeah.
Why me? What am I, like 5'3" in inches? Like I'm barely like 1.60 something, you know, like I'm not afraid of the conversations I might have. Conversations, right? Like I wasn't even thinking like somebody's going to like physically abuse me because of that.
Sure.
It doesn't happen like in the circles like where we're around. Yeah, look, like that kind of like one of the things that I was always curious about, you know, like why there are not more of us out there, right? Trying to show off.
So, usually when we get close to the end of the episode, we always ask to our guests the same question, which is, there is any Israeli or Jew woman that was deeply inspiring you? Because I think that's one of the purpose of this.
You sent me those questions before, so I was wondering,
Yeah,
did
because-
everyone say Golda Meir?
Yes, Golda Meir is very popular.
I did, I think.
You did it?
No,
Well, you know, it's not like some random, it's like an institution, as you
Exactly.
said.
Look, she was the first female prime minister. She got us through some crazy war. I would love to have a talk, like, and be like, how do you take so much responsibility, like, as a woman for something like that? But I think, like, again, G.I. Jane and me, I was always thinking, well, like, I was actually, like, putting thought, like, into that question, like, specifically. I was going from, like, RBG to, like, many other women, but, like, I think I can't say that, like, it inspired me through my life, but, like, when I did the research, like, I would rather, like, speak about Hannah Sanish.
Yeah. By the way, did you read the book by Matti Friedman?
No, I did not.
Oh my God, you have to read it. It's called Start Looking, Free Marketing for Matti Friedman. It's called Up from the Sky. It's actually very interesting. I'll make a parenthesis about it because it's about basically hair and Sosireni and all the Jews, because they were not Israelis, that joined the British Army, and they were paratrooped back in Europe during the Second World War. Most of them were killed, and the book tries to, first of all, tells their story, but also tries to understand why they did it. And most of them were people of literature. They were all writers or screenplayers or intellectuals, and the argument that Matti Friedman is making is that they needed to change the narrative of the Jewish people. That, you know, we're not a people that goes to get butchered in concentration camps. We're also the people that takes responsibility and weapons when it needs to and gets paratrooped back to Europe and fight.
So I think like I have to be like I'm very self-aware, like I'm very self-absorbed, like so I have to say like when I think of Hannah Sanish, you know, like it's less of me, you know, trying to understand like why and how, like I try to apply it on myself and be like, would I be able to do something similar? And again, like learning a lot back in school over there and also like on my own, like about the Russian history. Like there's one book that's called, I don't know by the way if it's an official translation into English, like I'm just doing that right now, that says like the war doesn't have a female face. So there's like short stories from women about like their experience like in the Second World War, you know, like everything from like their being in the front, from their being in the back, like from them meeting men over there, and also like the most traumatic experience, like them coming back from war and men being heroes and women being war horse. Sorry, like that's pretty much what it was. But like reading a lot of like heroic stories of that women, I would be like, could I do that? Like if I were like in this situation, like would I be able to do something similar? And like when I think of Hannah, like it's the same. Like you have a beautiful life, you're 23 years old. Like why? But on the other hand, look, like I drove to the south with some food.
And it
food
was
and
very
equipment.
scary back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I don't know. Like I didn't think of it that way. Like it wasn't scary.
Well, it
but-
wasn't part church, part
Yeah,
or
but
something.
still,
Yeah.
for sure.
Still. By the way, few days ago I went to Yad Mordechai, which is one of the kibbutz near to the Gaza envelope, where there was actually the closing exhibition of the group of artists that I'm curating. Yes, we had an episode just about those beautiful women, and it was a beautiful moment. It was the end of the year program with music, a DJ, and all of a sudden I said to myself, sorry, fuck, I'm 5 kilometers apart from Gaza, and it can happen either no bargain. So on one hand, I was so happy and proud of all those amazing artists that they start over again after the war, and they're using art also to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, I was saying, oh my God, I'm here alone. My son is in Tel Aviv. And something happened. I'm not going to see him again. So I think we always live in the edge.
You just like don't allow yourself like to think that way. But like the point like you're making right now, like the distances over here are so different.
Yeah.
When earlier you asked like how do you navigate like the two wars and like I told you guys at the beginning, I don't have a good password. Sometimes when something starts over here, people ask me like, why don't you just run away? Like go back. I'm like, go back where? Like, to another war. First of all, that's another difference. Like people don't run away here. Like they're coming here, like because they want to be a part of it. I don't know what it is, like something in the air, whatnot. But over there, it's miles and miles away. Like now it's a little closer. Like there are drones around Moscow, but again, you know, like the life is not disturbed. But you can also say about Tel Aviv, right? Like there were, you know, rockets from Iran, and we're still here by the pool, you know, like living the dream almost. But it's so close. I live in Bat Yam. Gaza is what, like 50, 60 kilometers away, and you realize the distance.
Yeah. I think, listen, just to wrap it up, is that we all went through some major trauma. It doesn't matter if we were here or not, the Iran war, the missiles and everything, and I think we covered this in one of the episodes before about the volunteering, that was one of the things that actually for me kept me going a lot. And it's not because I want to praise myself for being altruistic, but it's because basically getting your head out of your ass basically really helps you.
Physical work helps.
Yeah, physical work helps, and just like really just the pleasure of taking care of somebody else and making you feel like you're not fucking useless and not the victim. I think part of the volunteering thing, it's about like, it's just overcoming the trauma of feeling a victim, and you're like, no, I'm not a victim. I'm helping, I'm in control, and I may not take a gun and go and fight at the border, but I'm taking control of the situation, and I'm not, I think we're all flirting with depression since October 7 in a way, who more, who less, but like just reacting to the situation is, at least for me, what kept me going, and even this podcast for us, it's some kind of a therapy, and giving a platform to amazing women and share these stories. It's extremely therapeutical for us, for listeners, for even for people that don't live here and that are just curious to understand more about. Because people ask me, how do you live there? Like, you know, was it with missiles, with war? Like, why don't you just go somewhere else? And I'm like, first of all, it's amazing. It's an exercise. This whole experience is
School of life.
It's a life itself.
Yeah,
it is a full, crazy fucking life, but it's a life, and we're grabbing it by the balls, and women like you are super, super inspiring. So thank you so much, Genia.
To you, by the way, did I tell you, like my mom and my sister from Moscow are actually visiting right now?
Oh wow!
And they have no clue, really, you know, like what we're going through over here, like when it all starts, like when the fireworks are in the air. You know, like I kind of, my mom like is a warrior, like obviously, you know, like when it comes to those things, like so I don't tell her. Like I kind of like minimize the pressure, but I'm like, yeah, like we'll go down like to the bomb shelter once, twice, 7 times a day. And I'm just like, fingers crossed, like nothing happens. Like another story I have to say, like I told you, like my son is in a French school over here.
Right.
So half of the kids, like he's going to school with that from, like Jaffa, right?
Yes.
They still take like kids over here. And the thing is, like no matter your religion, like it's a liberal school, so you have Jews, Muslims, Christians over there. Like no matter the religion and ethnicity, we were all going like to the same thing. Like I remember like one day I was sitting on the couch like with my son right after October 7th, like maybe like 1 month in, like maybe less. And he had he was playing like on his like PS4 and he had a call from his friend who lived Ramle, I think. Like the boy, his name was Asi or Asil. And they were just like sharing their stories, like where the first siren caught them. And my son was telling them like, yeah, like I was with my dad at my grandma's and grandpa's, and the other kid was like, yeah, my dad was in the bathroom. So kind of like you also see that like to a certain extent, maybe for certain generations, like maybe not our generation, but like hopefully we have like hope for the kids, right? Like they were speaking the same language. No matter that, my son is Jewish and the other kid is probably a Muslim, I'm not sure. Like there are a lot of like Christian Arab families over there, like amazing kids, amazing parents, and there's no like visible like division over here, like, and everybody's going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's also what sends so many people abroad in short circuit, and they don't want to see their reality here because they're like, wait, what do you mean that like, I don't know, a crazy percentage of like doctors and nurses and pharmacists and highly skilled even diplomats and even people in the police and in the army are Muslims, and they're like, wait, that doesn't work with the apartheid
I'm
bullshit.
sorry to be a bummer,
Please.
but on October 7, a lot of people who died and they were kidnapped were Muslims. So unfortunately, October 7 didn't affected all of us. But to try to conclude with a positive note, thank you so much because you really helped us to zoom out a little bit in our crazy world.
At your service, ladies. Yeah.
So we are hopefully, if there is no escalation, all going to vacation and coming back here in Soho House at the end of August with a new episode with new member of Soho House. Thank you so much, Genia.
Thank you, ladies, for inviting me. It was great.
Thank you. Ciao.
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 See
Bye.
you soon. Bye.